So what's up guys, this is Gaussian from Docile and this is my first Photoshop tutorial, so I'm super excited. In this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to enhance the eye color in Photoshop and make them look very dramatic. So stay tuned. I would like to mention in here that this image which I am using in my tutorial is available at Google Images. I have put the link in the description down below so that you can check it out and you can edit it if you want it, so that you can just practice it on this file if you want to. So let's move into the tutorial, and for this, first of all, I'm going to start by unlocking the background layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard and double click the background layer like this, and it would unlock. Oh sorry, again I would do it. Yes, okay, so it's unlocked now. So now what I have to do is I have to create a bit of, a number of ellipses. So for that you just have to go to the shapes tool, like here you can see that this is the shapes tool. I think it's the name shape tool or whatever. So you can just go to ellipse tool right here. You can just right click and you would get an option. So from this you have to select the ellipse tool. Now you have to make an ellipse, and to make an ellipse you have to hold shift and make an ellipse. Okay, hold shift and it would give you a perfect circle which we just want. So right now you can see that the fill is crossed. That means there would be no fill inside the circle, and the stroke is black. That means the boundary of the circle or the circumference of the circle would be completely black. So what we need in here is that we want to create the boundary, but a bit thicker one. For that you just have to go to this place and click this drop down arrow, maybe it is called, and just you have to increase the stroke like this. So right now I'm gonna go somewhere around maybe 12, 13, 14, 13, and something like this. Okay, that's perfect. Now I'm gonna scale it down and I'm gonna put it outside my pupil, or the pupil of the image which I'm using. So I'm gonna hit V on my keyboard to select the move tool, and now I can select this layer and move it around. So now I want to move it here, right here. I would press Ctrl T and it will give me these options. Using these options I can just make it smaller or larger, but if I hold shift it won't ruin the circle and it would become larger and smaller, but it would remain a perfect circle. So I have to what I would do is rather I would press shift and alt. So press shift and alt and scale it down, okay, like this. So it would just scale down on the center. Okay, it's scaling down. So right now, yes, and okay, so it's in the, so just outside the pupil. This is exactly what I want. And for that, now I'm gonna name this ellipse as inner. Okay, inner, and enter. You can do this by clicking the layer twice. So double click and then, sorry, not like this, double click the name of the layer, double click the name of the layer, then you can change. So I'm gonna type inner. Okay, now I'm gonna duplicate this layer, so because I want to get another ellipse. For that I'm gonna press Ctrl J and it would give a completely new layer, similar or symmetrical or same as this one, but I want to make it a bit larger. For that I'm just gonna select this one. I'm gonna name it middle, and I'm gonna press Ctrl T and it would give me these options. I would press now on my keyboard shift and alt, and I would stretch outwards, you can see, but I would make it to just that it wraps around my inner circle. So that is, I think, there it is. That's good. Now you can also use your arrow keys value or in your scaling options to move it. So I'm using it. So I would place it somewhere right maybe here, okay, and scale it up a little bit. So press shift alt and then okay, like so. I think that's perfect. Now I want to create another ellipse, and for that I'm just gonna select this one. I'm gonna press Ctrl J and I'm gonna name it outer. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press Ctrl T and now holding Shift Alt, I'm just gonna move it outwards, okay, like this. And I'm just gonna use my arrow keys to move it, so I want to place it right here. Okay, that's perfect. Now we want to do the same for the next eye, but instead of making 3 individual ellipses again, we just have to do what we just have to do is we just have to click the outer one and hold Shift, click the last one, you know, click this one and click the last one, and it would select all of this, the 3. Then you have to press Ctrl J and it would make copies of these ellipses. Now what you have to do is you have to get these 2 selected. They would be selected automatically when you copy them, but if they're not, then you can click this, hold Control, click this, hold Control, click this. Okay, then you can move using your move tool. You can select your move tool by V, pressing V in your keyboard, and move it to the other right. Okay, so that was super simple. I'm gonna move it here. You can also use the arrow keys while you are in your move tool to move it. So I'm gonna move it like here. That's it. But I'm gonna reposition the outer one because that's a little bit not in the position where I want it to be. So I'm gonna select the outer copy like this. I'm in my move tool and I'm gonna move it where I want it to be. I want it to be here, maybe here, yes, here. And I'm gonna select my middle one and I'm gonna place it right here. That was good. I'm gonna select my inner one. Is it like right here? That's perfect. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna color all of these ellipses. Now for that we just have to click the ellipse we wanna color and go to yes, the ellipse options. Click ellipse, so you would get these options here. You just want to color the stroke, change the color of the stroke. So what you want to do is you want to select the color from the eye. So if I select, and for that you would get a tool which is called eyedropper tool, and you would get it automatically when you open this color picker up. So you will get this color picker, and you can just select a color. Like if I click here, it would give me that this color is present in this region. But what I want to do is I want to make it a bit more saturated and brighter version of it. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this circle over to here so that my inner ellipse is just colored in the brighter version of the color which was present already in the eye. So press OK and you can see that it is colored. Now I want to do the same to this inner copy also. So I would select this, go to stroke, and simply you can just select this one and click here. Okay, if I click here, it will give the same color to that one also. But that was super simple. And now I have to select the middle one, and for the middle one I would suggest you to get a bit lighter color because that is how it works. Most of the eyes are shaded in this way. So I'm going to remain in my orange zone. Because the original colors of the eye is orangish brown reddish tone, so I don't want to mess up and go into other colors. I just want to play around with orange, different versions of orange I mean. So I'm just gonna move a bit up so that I get a bit lighter version of orangish yellow color. Maybe that is perfect. Maybe a bit more yellowish, golden, orange, yellow, whatever it is. So I will press OK and it would color my middle layer. Now what I want to do is I want to apply the same color to my next middle layer, and for that I'm going to go to stroke, press here and select this one. Okay, click here, so it would color this one. Press OK. Now what I want to do, I want to go to my outer and I want to color it. And for outer, I would recommend you to color a bit darker version of the orange. So if I select orange, I would go to a bit darker version because that would provide a very shady or very, dramatic look. So let's go here, somewhere like right here. Okay, so I have colored it. Now what I'm going to do is I want to do the same with the other lips, the outer copy. So I'm going to select this one, I'm going to go to stroke, I'm going to go to color picker, and I'm just going to select this. Click here and it would automatically select this color for that one also. Okay, so we are done with the coloring. Now it looks kind of weird. If you want to leave it right here, that's up to you, but if I want to do it much further, it's because I just want to make it more natural. So just go out here in the layer panel and let's select all of these layers. So click the outer copy and hold shift and click the inner, and you will get all of them selected. Now you have to right click on any one of them and select rasterize layers, where it is. Yes, rasterize layers. What it would do is it would help you erase the ellipses from where you don't want them to show up. So I don't want these ellipses to show up over this eyelid and eyelid and over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna make them show up only where I want to apply the color. So for this, what I'm going to do is I am going to select each of them once. I'm going to select my eraser tool by pressing E on my keyboard, or you can just simply click here, and I'm going to decrease the opacity, keep the opacity to 100% but decrease the flow right about 30% maybe. Also, I want to mention that I have a tutorial on the difference between flow and opacity, so that you can just go check it out. The link is given in the description. So let's move on. So selecting our eraser, and we have to select a very soft brush. So the first one is going to be the softest one, or you can just get your hardness down to 0%. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to select each individual layer and erase it from where we don't want it to show up. First I'm going to, okay, let's start with outer layer, outer copy. So I'm going to erase it like this real quick, because I'm going to keep it quick. So let's do it. Okay, like so you can see that it's erasing. Now I want to do the same to the outer. Now I remember which layer is what. If you don't, then you can just name them. Okay, you can name this one outer right, or this one outer left, then this one inner left, and this one inner right, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just removing it from here. Also, you have to keep a little lighter color on the area where the light is entering. I would just explain to you how to figure out where the light is entering and it is exiting from, because that's so important while editing eyes. So again, I'm just going to do the same process with the inner one. I'm going to select the inner one, and I'm going to erase it right here. Sorry, not here. Just let's do it. And yes, if you want to move back to whatever, wherever you are, if you want to move one step back, you can just press Ctrl Alt C. So if I erase it, I can press Ctrl Alt C, and it would give me back. So I want to erase it right here. Okay, that's cool. And also I'm going to erase inner copy the same way. Maybe this is best. Okay, now I'm going to go to my outer layer, outer copy, and erase this one. Oh no, sorry. I'm going to go to my middle copies and erase this one in the same way. Okay, this one here also, and maybe put here. So using a soft eraser would help you to get very soft and blended edges. If you use a hard eraser, it would give you, if you get your hardness increase, it would give you very sharp strokes, which we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the hardness down to 0%. So now I'm going to go to this inner, middle layer, and I'm going to delete it or erase it. I don't want it to show up. I don't want it here. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. So that's it. Now what you can do is you want to blend all of these together into the original eyeball, and that is going to be a very fun process, and that is the point where it will start to look very realistic and dramatic. So now you have to select each individual layer. Also, if you want to merge two layers together, that would help us save time. So let's do it. Select one layer and select a similar. So inner and inner copy. Press Ctrl, select or click inner copy, and then press Ctrl E. It will make them one layer, so you can name it inner. Now what you can see that if I turn this layer off, both of the inners are turning off. So that means that both of them are merged into single layer. Now I'm going to do the same with this middle and middle copy. Control click, Control E, double click, middle. Then I'm going to do the same to outer copy, outer, Control click outer copy, Control E, and then rename it to outer. That's perfect. Now we need to apply the effect that I was waiting for. So inner, just select one layer, go to filter, go to blur, and go to Gaussian blur. Now you can see that applying Gaussian blur, if I keep it to 0%, it is just as it looked before, but if I increased my slider towards right, you can see that it is blending into the eye. That is exactly what we want, but don't go too far, because then what would happen is that it would completely disappear. So we just want to keep it there, but we just want to remove the sharp edges and keep it a bit more blended into the eye, the texture, the beautiful texture of the eye. I hope that this lady is so beautiful. So okay, so right here. Now I think I'm gonna increase it a bit, maybe 10, maybe 11. Okay, that's good. Now I'm gonna do the same with the middle layer. I'm gonna go to filter, blur, and Gaussian blur, and now I'm gonna do the same. So you can see that it looks very cartoony to me, cartoony but dramatic. Okay, so I'm gonna press OK. I'm gonna select outer layer. I'm gonna go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. For the outer layer, I keep it a bit sharp so that it is less than 10. So I think the first two were 10, near to 10, but this is going to be 6, maybe 7. Because outer layer is going to boundary the eye, so I don't want to spill out. Don't want it to spill out, sorry. So I'm working on my English really hard. So okay, so press OK. Now you can see that our eyes are getting where we want them to be. Now, this is good, but it is not natural to me. So I'm gonna go select outer layer, hold shift, select or click. Whenever I say select, that means click. So click outer layer, shift, click inner, or this is a technique. If you select the outer one, if you select the layer that is on topmost layer, and then you hold shift and select the bottommost, it would select all of them. So in the same way, I'm just doing this. So outer layer, shift, click, inner layer, all of those selected together. That would save time. Okay, now I'm gonna group them together by pressing Ctrl G. Okay, that will give me a group. I'm gonna name this group, double clicking the group and naming it as maybe as color. Okay, color. Okay, color. So now you can see that this was before and now this is after. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna decrease the opacity so that we get a more natural blended look, and also we're able to see the real texture of the eyeball which is beneath the colors. So let's decrease the opacity. So right about 54, 55%, 52% is giving me something which I really like. Now you can see that this is not too natural looking, so for that I can just solve it right now. But okay, let's give it 55. I think I'm gonna go to my outer layer and I'm gonna go give it a bit more blur. So blur, Gaussian blur, and just go to. Okay, so it's giving me a bit more natural look now. So also I'm gonna go to inner. I'm gonna go filter, blur. So you can also adjust whatever you want. Okay, it all depends on what do you think about the picture which you're editing. It's totally dependent on your point of view or your eye. How do you feel the image to be perfect? Okay, now I'm gonna minimize that group, so you can click minimize by clicking this arrow. I'm just telling you even the very beginner things, so if someone is beginner, he may not be stressed up by different signs and whatever it is. So now I think that is pretty much close to our results, but I want a bit more adjustments. So for that, sorry, I just have to. Okay, for that we just have to make some layers, adjustment layers. So adjustment layers are the layers that appear in this semi-circle, semi-filled circle. Okay, so if I click this and I select curves, it would give me this dialog box. Okay, maybe this is dialog box or whatever it is, and it would add a new layer of curves over here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna decrease the midtones. That is called midtones. Whatever it is in this middle area is called midtones. So if I decrease this portion, that means I'm decreasing them, or I'm darkening the midtones. That is what I mean. So I'm gonna darken the midtones a bit, maybe here, and then I'm gonna select this box. Okay, I'm gonna click on this box. Okay, I'm gonna press Ctrl I. What that would do, that would just invert whatever is present in this layer, and it would not show up, and it would only show up where I would paint with a white brush. So my color is white. I'm selecting my brush by pressing B. So I would have selected my brush. Now I would move to my brush tool and select a very soft brush like this one. So first one is a brush that has zero hardness. You have to select this one. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint wherever I want this layer to show up. So I actually want this to show up. Also, if you want to increase or decrease the size of your brush, you just have to press the square bracket keys on your keyboard. So if you want to if I want to apply this layer anywhere in the image, I just have to brush on the parts where I want it to appear. So that is the benefit of this black mask. So I'm just going to brush on the outer area, okay, like this. You can see that brushing in here gives me a very dramatic look. Okay, that's good. Now if it is too much, you can also decrease it, and that is the benefit of our opacity. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to decrease the opacity so that it's more natural. So you can see that if I turn off this layer, it looks like this, and if I turn on it, it gives a bit more dimension to the eye, and that is really awesome. So I want to do that again to brighten up the parts which I want to brighten. So that was when I wanted to darken the parts which I wanted or wish to darken. Now I'm going to do it for the parts where I want to brighten up. So I'm going to brighten up this area. So why I want to brighten up only this area? So let's understand something. A simple principle. Let's make a nail layer just for rough work. Okay. So I'm going to press T. Okay. Now if I see that the light is entering from this side, as you can see that this area is brighter than this one, that means the light is entering from this side, and also we can see that light is here, that means light is coming from here, somewhere here, whatever, but from this region. Light would always emit from the opposite side. That is the principle. This is how it works. Okay, this and this side, if it's entering from this, you can see that it is entering from this side, it would emit here. That means we just have to create a glow in this portion and in this portion. Don't need to create a glow in this portion, because in this portion there is always a catch light. Catch light is a light that is reflected in the eyes, and it could be from whatever modifier or a window, whatever is the light source in which the photograph has been taken. It could appear right here, and then there will be a light glow on the opposite side. So that's how it works. So now we want to delete that layer. Okay. Now we want to preview the glow. So for glow, as I brighten up, as I darkened up these parts by taking the midtones down, now I can brighten up the opposite parts by taking the midtones up. So that is how it works. Taking the midtones bit up. That's perfect. Now I want to again select this box, invert the layer, because I just want this layer to show up where I want to brighten the areas, not in the areas which, not everywhere. So I'm going to decrease my opacity a bit, maybe flow a bit. So now I'm going to brighten up this part. Maybe I'm going to do that part. Okay. So you can see that a glow is being produced in this part, and this is natural. It's supernatural. Not supernatural, but I mean it is quite natural. So you can see now that if I turn off and on, a glow is produced on the opposite side of the light. Now to keep it more natural, I would just decrease its opacity. So like this, and okay, that's perfect. Maybe right about 70%, 72. Okay, that's perfect. Yes. Now that's almost done. Now you can see that the final look that we were looking for is just appearing on the image. Now just to add a little bit of more contrast to the image, I am just gonna decrease the shadows, decrease midtones a bit, highlights. So I think that's awesome. Now you can see that it has just given life to this image. What a great just layer curves is. I am a big fan of curves. Okay, so this is the final result. So you can see that this is our final result. This was before, no, sorry, to show you a bit before and after. Okay, so this was before, this is after. Before and after. Before and after. So you can see that how much drama is created in here. And if at any point you feel that you want to decrease the opacity because this is looking too much, you can always go back and decrease the opacity. That is the benefit of non-destructive editing, and this is non-destructive editing because we are dealing with everything separately. So we can adjust anything anywhere we want. So if I wish that it could be less, I can decrease it. If I wish that could I could increase it, I wish to increase it, it would go right away here. So you can do it. Okay, just gotta do it. Maybe 25, 31%. That looks good, and totally depends on you. So that was the tutorial on how to enhance, adjust, or create a dramatic look to the eyes of your photos. That could be applied to any photo. Just depends on where the light is coming from, where the light is exiting from. So you want to put most of the effort from where the light is exiting. That's why I just removed the curves or the ellipses from this side and kept them on this side. The majority of them were on this side, I think. So that is how you do it. So if you like this video, please do not forget, please do not forget to subscribe my channel. I would be uploading similar videos, very interesting and useful videos for anyone, a beginner, intermediate, advanced, whatever. I would post videos for everyone. And do share this video, and do contact me on Facebook. And if you want any requests, if you have any request and you want me to make a video on that specific area of Photoshop, you want to ask about any function, you want to ask about any tool, whatever you want to do, please let me know. Just comment me, or comment on my video, or you can just message me on Facebook, or you can just contact me by any means I have just provided in my channel. So that was all about this video. Please stay tuned for some other exciting and awesome stuff for Photoshop, and also I review technology products. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel. Bye bye, and have a good night, obviously, because I think this is night. Yes, it is night. So good night, and have a